The Chicago Bears offense has a pulse. They showed up big in this win against the Rams, and you couldn't lose this game. Going 1-3 to start the season with all the expectations, with all the talk around this team, Caleb Williams, the first number 1 overall pick, to have all these weapons around him, to be shitting the bed like that, going 1-3, that would have been a horrible start. So the Bears didn't do that. They beat a head coach that is one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. They also beat a great veteran quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who has had the Bears number. Especially since he's been with the Rams. The last time they played Sunday Night Football, it was a bad night for the Bears. He cooked them. But this performance, even with all the weapons, the Rams had that were out of this game, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, the defensive players they had in this game that were banged up, the offensive line was banged up as well. The Bears, this is still a win that they could be really happy about. Because coaching-wise, the Rams should have outcoached the Bears completely, and they should have still won this game just off coaching. But Eberflus, he called some timely blitzes on the blitz that, sealed the deal. Darrell Taylor, when he almost sacked Matthew Stafford and turned into an interception. Jaquan Brisker picked it off to seal the game. Some blitzes that Eberflus was dialing up were perfectly timed, and they were, chef's kiss. So Eberflus did a great job defensively. This defense did a great job, and they were exactly what we've been seeing them be these first 4 games. This is a 10th straight game that the Bears have allowed 21 points or less, and that's the longest streak in the NFL right now. So this defense is elite. Jalen Johnson's elite. Brisker had himself a day, 12 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 sack, an interception, should have had 2. So he was all pro level in this game. And this is definitely an underrated safety in the league. Like, people don't give him enough credit. He makes plays. He hits hard. He gets interceptions. So he's all around the field. And for the Bears, he was that in this game. Gervon Dexter had another sack. That's 3 sacks in the first 4 games. I think he leads the NFL in sacks for defensive tackles right now, or he's right at the top. We've been needing that defensive tackle that's going to wreak havoc and just going to be a pass rushing nightmare for offensive lines. For this defense to, flourish, you need that 3-tech. You need that defensive tackle that's a monster. And Dexter, so far in these first 4 games, has been that. The quarterback pressures are there. He's stopping the run. He has 3 sacks. That's more than he had all last year in his rookie season. So taking that next step, he did it already so far. We've seen what we wanted to see from him this season and more. He's exceeded expectations. So he's been a big highlight for this Bears defense. Sweat had a sack that forced, a turnover, a strip sack that gave the Bears position to score their first touchdown, second quarter. So the Bears made plays defensively all around in this game. Special teams was great. Torrey Taylor, man, a couple 60-yard bombs, and they're just completely changing field position. The Bears inside their own 20, he punts it away, and the Rams have to operate inside their own 20. So just changing field position completely. Defense is playing at a high level. Not only does opposing teams have to play our elite defense, maybe the best defense in the NFL, they also have to operate inside their own 20. Or less sometimes. Just how good our punter is and how good he changes field position. So that's a nightmare for every team, no matter how good your offense is. Matthew Stafford, he was able to drive, the Rams offense down the field a lot in this game. The run game was working for them, but once they got in the red zone, the Bears held their own and they stopped them. So if the Bears can continue that, the punt game, special teams being elite, and the defense playing elite, offensively, we just need to give them something, maybe 20 points a game, and we're going to win the game, I think. So in this game, offensively, though, it was a highlight because Caleb Williams didn't, have any interceptions, didn't have any throws that were almost interceptions. Besides the time he got strip sacked, Matt Pryor recovered it. That was really the only turnover play. He was crisp. He controlled the offense. He controlled the game, was a game manager in this game, but that's really all we needed to seal the victory. Made great throws. The throw to DJ Moore for the touchdown, that was an amazing throw while the pocket was collapsing. DJ Moore, we've been struggling to get him the ball other than screen passes to him. That really hasn't worked. But I want to see that chemistry continue to, get stronger because there's times you see him frustrated. I think Shane Waldron needs to do a better job of, DJ Moore's usage. Caleb Williams and DJ Moore need to be on the same page more, but That touchdown is exactly what I want to see more from those two. I want to see them connecting, get DJ Moore 10 targets at least every game, because he's that kind of playmaker, an elite playmaker. With the ball in his hands, he's got an opportunity to take it to 6 every single time. So getting him the ball is something we need to work on a little more. Dunze, Cole Kmet, Keenan Allen, those guys, the ball was spread around, sporadically to a bunch of guys in this offense. Nobody really had a dominant game in the receiver room, but Swift. Now, people were bullying his ass. People were saying how bad he was. I was saying he should get benched. Roschon should be the starting running back moving forward. And he saw all that talk and he just balled the fuck out in this game against the Rams. This is not the worst rush defense in the NFL. They have a pretty good defensive line. They have some decent linebackers. But Swift made them look like barbecue chicken. 93 yards rushing, 16 carries, 5.8 yards per carry. And in the receiving game, he was our best receiver. 7 catches, 72 yards. He was really the MVP in this game. And I think he showed us exactly what we wanted to get from him when we signed him. Just, that Detroit version, a guy that can be a huge impact player in the receiving game. You can line him up at receiver. He can do things in the screen game. And as a runner, he's going to make people miss. He's going to, break tackles. He's got that vision. He's shifty. And that's what we saw in this game. All of those traits. The vision, people were, coming after him about the vision, saying he has one of the worst visions of a running back in the NFL, and he put all that to rest. That 36-yard rushing touchdown he had, he hopped over a defender and took that shit for 6. That was crazy. Huge game. And the nice screen pass he had that, took it for like 30, 40 yards. Big plays from him all game. So this is the version we want to see from him moving forward. And he can be that. He showed us he could be that against a pretty solid defense. Carolina should be able to run through them. I like how Waldron used Roschon Johnson in this game, short yardage game. That was perfect. He's going to get the ball, 3rd and 1, and he's going to turn into a first down, or, 3rd and 3, he's going to get a first down. Doug Kramer in the backfield as a fullback. That was chef kiss. I know Kari Blasengame's going to come back soon, but I wouldn't mind having both of those guys back there. Short yardage, Roschon Johnson, and he's breaking tackles. He's getting hit as soon as he gets the ball, and he's still getting the first down. So that's the exact way we should use Roschon Johnson. 3rd down situations too, pass protect. You could use him out there. Put Swift out at receiver, or still have Swift in the game and Roschon in the game on 3rd down situations. I wouldn't mind that. But Roschon Johnson had the rushing touchdown too. So the short yardage, I love the play. They called it God's play, Matt Eberflus said in the press conference Monday. So that moving forward, that's what we need to do. Finally having a plan on short yardage, not doing a quarterback speed option or a speed toss to Swift that gets a 12-yard loss. None of that shit no more. Just straight, bully ball, Roschon Johnson in the backfield, Kari Blasingame, Doug Kramer, whoever it is at fullback. Let's just keep doing that, because that 100% efficiency in this game. That's our tush push. So really like what Roschon did in his, small sample size, 7, carries, 26 yards, had a touchdown. He's still going to be an effective. And I think the 1-2 punch, Swift and Roschon, that's something we should do moving forward. It looks like Khalil Herbert fell out the rotation and he's not used. He's not Pole's guy. So I think that's somebody we should trade, honestly. Maybe get a 4th or 5th round pick back in for him, because a lot of teams, they could still use a running back. I mean, Kansas City could have used Khalil Herbert before they signed, Pirine, before they signed, Hunt. So there's teams that could definitely use a running back. And Khalil Herbert, one of the best yards per carry running back, downhill, fast running back. He can do a lot of great things in the backfield. So I think that's something to monitor. I think before the trade deadline, maybe at the trade deadline, I could see Khalil Herbert getting traded. Moving forward, hopefully Swift can build off this performance and he can have another great week. It's just ironic. The week I cut his ass, the week I bench his ass and then cut him, he has a big day. He has a huge day. One of my fantasy winners when I break down that video soon on 6-Man Blitz. But offensively, this was a great performance. Caleb Williams, I think he's getting better and better every week. The numbers don't really reflect it. It's not Jaden Daniels' numbers, but he's getting more confident in this offense. And, the offensive line played a little better. Second half, Tevin Jenkins, when he, went out the game, they played really good, which I was surprised by. Matt Pryor had a solid game. He had a 76 PFF grade. Thought he was great in this game. And Darnell Wright, solid. Braxton Jones was getting abused by Jared Verse, though. So Jared Verse should have had 4 sacks in the first half. But other than that, the offensive line was still decent. Caleb Williams, some of the sacks he took, he was holding the ball a little too long. He needs to work on that a little more. But yeah, he eliminated turnovers in this game, played crisp, let the defense, let the run game do the work. And when we have a run game, things move well for our offense. I thought the drive we had in the second half was the best drive that I've seen Shane Waldron call. So, some players, Caleb Williams, Cole Kmet, I think Mercedes Lewis were calling Shane Waldron out. They were having, meetings before the game. Like, this offense, we need you to be more aggressive. And it looks like it worked. Second half, like I said, that huge drive they had, 72 yards, 6 or 7, 8 plays, went down the field, and then had another touchdown drive after that. So if we could get the ball rolling for this offense, if we could build off this, and this could be a confidence builder, and Carolina, Jacksonville, those 2 teams coming up, we'll be fine. I think defense, special teams, those are 2 elite groups for us. If offense could just be a little bit above average, we will be fine. We'll be a playoff team, and we'll get ready for those tough games against the Packers, against the Vikings, those tough teams on the schedule. Just got to build confidence right now and get this offense in tip-top shape, and yeah, we'll be fine. Jacksonville, Carolina, like I said, those are the 2 games coming up. We should be able to handle business against Carolina this week. I know Andy Dalton has that team playing a little better offensively. I think we should have all the answers for him. Defensively, we should be able to take care of business. I think one of their guards is hurt, so Sweat, Dexter, Darrell Taylor, they should handle business on that offensive line. I don't think that offensive line is that good. Andy Dalton, maybe a couple turnovers in that game. Offensively, DJ Moore should have a huge game this week against his former team that traded him away. So Carolina, I think we should be able to handle business. And then Jacksonville, that's one of the worst teams in the NFL. We should handle business. I know it's in London. Could be a trap game, but I think the Bears should handle business in that one. So heading into the bye week, we should be 4-2. That's the goal. And losing to the Colts, I know that was a bad loss, but they just beat the Steelers. That was a huge victory for them. So the Colts aren't a bad team. They aren't a bad football team. They're a well-coached football team. So losing to them is not the end of the world, especially if we end up with the record we expected to end up with. You lose to the Texans, that was a given. Lose to the Rams or the Colts. So 2-2, it's a great spot for us to be in. The schedule is going to ease up a little. These next 2 games, 4-2 before the bye week. I'm happy as a Bears fan. So this is a great victory to build off from. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what your thoughts on this win was. What did you grade this performance from Caleb Williams? What grade do you give him? What grade do you give the rest of the players in this offense? Swift, who is your biggest, winners and losers from this game? But I would want him to get an extension done with, Keenan Allen. I would want him to stay with the Chicago Bears for maybe 2 or 3 more years because he's coming off his best season last year with the Chargers.